Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back to our Fetal Echocardiography Registry review. Let's keep rocking this test. Question 51. What is the arrow pointing to? A. Anomalous pulmonary vein. B. Trachea. C. Persistent left superior vena cava. Or D. Abdominal aorta. The answer is C. Persistent left superior vena cava. Question 52. This defect is most likely to occur in which of the following? A. Trisomy 18. B. Trisomy 13. C. 22q11 microdeletion. Or D. 45X. The answer is C, 22q11 microdeletion. This image clip represents truncus arteriosus. Question 53. Click on the left atrial appendage. The answer is right here. Question 54. Which view is best for visualizing pulmonary atresia with an intact ventricular septum? A. Apical forechamber. B. Long axis view of the RVOT. C. Short axis view of the ventricles. Or D. Three vessel view. The answer is A, apical forechamber view. Question 55. Which of the following do you adjust to visualize blood flow in the pulmonary veins? A, increase wall filter. B, decrease pulse repetition frequency. C, increase color gain. Or D, decrease persistence. The answer is B, decrease pulse repetition frequency. Question 56. Click on the hypoplastic aorta. The answer is right in this region here. Question 57. Which of the following do you adjust to visualize blood flow in the aortic arch? A, increase PRF. B, increase color gain. C, decrease wall filter. Or D, increase persistence. The answer is A, increased PRF. Question 58. What does this image represent? A, dextral position. B, severe mesocardia. C, severe levocardia. Or D, severe levoposition. The answer is C, severe levocardia. Question 59. What does this M mode demonstrate? A, complete heart block. B, supraventricular tachycardia. C, atrial fibrillation. Or D, second-degree heart block. The answer is A, complete heart block. Question 60. Which of the following will show an absent brachiocephalic vein in the three-vessel view? A, total anomalous pulmonary venous return. B, partial anomalous pulmonary venous return. C, persistent left superior vena cava. Or D, persistent right superior vena cava. The answer is C, persistent left superior vena cava. Question 61. How many AV leaflets will this complete endocardial defect have? A2, B3, C4, or D5? The answer is D5. Question 62. Click on the thoracic aorta in this patient with polysplenia. The answer is right here. And this right here is the azygous vein. Question 63. Which of the following is associated with this condition? A, charge syndrome. B, hand-heart syndrome. C, Noonan syndrome. Or D, Ellis-Van Creveld syndrome. The answer is C, Noonan syndrome, and this ultrasound represents a pleural effusion. Question 64. This measurement should raise concerns for what? A, hypoplastic left heart syndrome. B, coarctation. C, interrupted aortic arch. Or D, aneurysm. This measurement here says 0.311 centimeters. The answer is B, coarctation. Question 65. Which of the following is associated with this fetal echocardiogram? A, scimitar syndrome, B, Noonan syndrome, C, heterotaxy, or D, DiGeorge syndrome? The answer is A, scimitar syndrome. Question 66. Click on the left atrium in this patient with tricuspid atresia. The answer is right here. Question 67. This type of condition is best diagnosed in what view? A, apical 4-chamber, B, apical 5-chamber, C, short axis view of the great vessels, or D, 3-vessel? The answer is B, apical 5-chamber view. And this ultrasound represents a patient who has truncus arteriosus. Question 68. Which of the following causes this condition? A, pentology of Cantrell, B, Down syndrome, C, tuberous sclerosis, or D, maternal diabetes? The answer is A, pentology of Cantrell, and this ultrasound represents a fetus with ectopia cordis. Question 69. These types of tumors typically grow where? A, fossa ovalis, B, myocardium, C, pericardium, or D, left atrium? The answer is C, pericardium. And this tumor is a teratoma. Question 70. Click on the ductus arteriosus in this patient with a right aortic arch. The answer is right here. This is the ductus arteriosus, and this is the aorta. Question 71. Which arrhythmia is commonly associated with this cardiac tumor? A, complete heart block. B, supraventricular tachycardia. C, atrial fibrillation. Or D, atrial flutter. The answer is B, supraventricular tachycardia, and this type of tumor is a rhabdomyoma caused by tuberous sclerosis. Question 72. Based on the ultrasound characteristics in this video, the mass in this heart must be what? A, myxoma. B, fibroma. C, hemangioma. Or D, blood clot. The answer is D, blood clot. Question 73. Click on the superior vena cava in this patient with a right aortic arch. The answer is right here. And this right here is the trachea. Question 74. This type of condition will affect which layers of the heart? A, myocardium, endocardium, and epicardium. B, myocardium and endocardium. C, myocardium and epicardium. Or D, endocardium and epicardium. The answer is A, myocardium, endocardium, and epicardium, because this is a true aneurysm of the left ventricle. Question 75. Click on the pulmonary artery in this patient with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. The answer is right here. And this pulmonary artery is actually enlarged as well. Question 76. What can you expect to see in a recipient twin with IUGR? A. Hypoplastic left heart syndrome. B. Pericardial effusion. C. Pulmonic stenosis. Or D. Interrupted aortic arch. The answer is C. Pulmonic stenosis. Question 77. This defect is most likely to occur in which of the following? A. Turner syndrome. B. Noonan syndrome. C. Marfan syndrome. Or D. Down syndrome. The answer is A. Turner syndrome, and this image represents a fetus with a bicuspid aortic valve. Question 78. Click on the right atrial appendage. The answer is right in this region here. Which of the following is associated with this condition? A. Down syndrome. B. Noonan syndrome. C. Scimitar syndrome. Or D. DiGeorge syndrome. The answer is D. DiGeorge syndrome, and this ultrasound represents a fetus with interrupted aortic arch. And that concludes all the questions for this test. If any of you have any questions about your upcoming fetal echo boards, feel free to email me at ultrasoundboardreview@gmail.com, or you can personally text or call me at 435-922-1635. I'm Jim with ultrasoundboardreview.com. Thank you so much for watching.